The restaurant's dim lights flickered, scattering shadows along the walls as I nursed a whiskey neat. My gaze locked on the pair tucked away in the corner booth. My wife, Emma, glowed with her usual radiance, her laughter chiming like delicate glass. It might have been a tender scene, if not for the man across from her. His hand slipped beneath the table, tracing her thigh, and my grip on the tumbler tightened, the faint clink of ice betraying my restraint. Rage and heartbreak knotted in my chest, but I stayed composed. For weeks, I had suspected something was wrong. The late-night work meetings, her sudden protectiveness over her phone, the lingering scent of another man's cologne clinging to her clothes. Tonight, suspicion gave way to certainty. And I already had a plan. I hadn't spent months preparing just to throw accusations into the air. Emma had betrayed me, and Martin, the name I now attached to him, had desecrated my marriage. This wasn't about blind revenge. It was about measured consequences, born of fury but executed with care. I'd already hired a private investigator, who handed me a neat dossier. Photos, texts, dates, places, every sordid detail. Not for court. This was for me. For her. For him. The next morning, I put the first step into motion. Exposure. Martin was married, too. A few clicks online revealed his wife, Claire, a warm-looking woman who filled her social pages with smiling family portraits of their 2 children and idyllic outings. She deserved the truth. I arranged to meet her at a small cafe, the file tucked under my arm. When she arrived, her wary expression told me she already feared what was coming. Sliding the folder across the table, I watched her hands tremble as she leafed through the images and messages. Tears welled as the reality set in. I offered her a tissue. She accepted without a word. Finally, her voice cracked through the silence. "Thank you for telling me. I need time, but I'm grateful for your honesty." We exchanged numbers, vowing to stay in touch. Claire had her own plans for Martin, and together we made sure his life wouldn't remain untouched. Step 2, confrontation. That night, I set the table for 2. Candles flickering, crystal glasses shining, her favorite flowers arranged neatly in the center. Emma walked in, her eyes lighting up at the effort. "What's all this?" she asked, kissing my cheek. "Just wanted to spoil my beautiful wife," I said, hiding disdain behind a careful smile. Dinner began pleasantly enough. Chatter about work, neighbors, holidays. But as dessert landed, it was time. "Emma," I began, steady and calm, "I've been thinking a lot about us." Her smile faltered. "Oh, what about us?" I reached beneath my chair, pulled out the file, and slid it across. "You should see this." Color drained from her face as she opened it. Page after page exposed her betrayal in unflinching detail. Her hands shook. Tears brimmed. I can explain," she whispered. "There's no need," I said evenly. "I know everything. I've known for weeks. This isn't about explanations, it's about consequences." Panic rippled across her face. "Please let me fix this. It was a mistake. A terrible mistake." "Mistakes are accidents," I replied. This was a choice. Step 3, resolution. I'd already spoken to a lawyer. Divorce papers lay waiting. I slid them across the table. "Sign these. Keep the house, the car, whatever you want. I just want my dignity, and I want to move on." Her tears spilled freely, but I held firm. She made her decision, now I was making mine. Relief washed over me as her pen touched the paper. The crushing weight of her betrayal finally easing from my chest. But there was still one final piece. Accountability. Claire and I arranged to face Martin together. We walked into his office unannounced. The moment he saw us, his face flushed crimson. "What's going on?" he barked, voice quivering. "This," Claire said firmly, "is your reckoning. We know everything. You're going to face it." I handed him his copy of the file, watching as his confidence collapsed with every page he turned. He sputtered, apologies, excuses, flimsy words, but neither of us cared to listen. Claire had already begun her divorce, and Martin's career, built on a veneer of integrity, was about to shatter. Leaving that office, I felt something close to closure. Emma and Martin had chosen their paths. Now they would pay for them. This wasn't revenge. This was reclaiming my life, free from their shadows. Months later, I rebuilt. I threw myself into work, reconnected with friends, even dipped into dating again. The scars of betrayal didn't disappear, but they settled into me, becoming part of my story, a testament to my resilience. One quiet evening in my new apartment, whiskey in hand as the city lights glittered beyond the window, I felt something I thought I'd lost forever: peace.